NHL, where you guys at? TikTok, you got to cancel your games here because all the other leagues are doing it. So I really don't like what the NHL did yesterday. And the fact that they went on with their games just blows my mind when all the other leagues didn't. I was looking at, how I did that poll on my on the Instagram story, if you'd rather fight primetime Mike Tyson or
I did
or current Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
And everyone said they would do the primetime for a minute.
That's insane.
I'll ask Jason. Jason, did you see that? Would you rather fight primetime Mike Tyson for 1 minute, 60 seconds, or would you rather fight current Mike Tyson for 5 minutes?
Prime time. I think that'd be fun.
Be fun?
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
You get knocked out. It wouldn't be fun. You wouldn't remember shit.
Yeah, no, like an actual fight though. Like you'd have to fight for your life basically.
Prime.
But, yeah, I mean, I would take prime time just because it's a minute.
I take current one. I don't know. I still take current one.
No, I don't know. Well, hey, check out episode number 15 if you want to hear more about that. So, all right, but
I take prime.
Interesting. I think a lot of people agreed with me because I did that poll on the IG story. So everyone, I think it was like 60 or 70% of people chose prime time. So it's good to see that a lot of people were in agreement with Omar and I, and Jay was just looking silly. All right.
I love the democracy.
Let me go 5 minutes with this guy.
Yeah, I don't know how you... Okay, whatever. Let's move on. Welcome back to Unlimited, episode number 17. Jason Lee, Jay Lee, you guys recognize them. Jason was on episode number 4. Jay's been on, I think, 3 of them by now.
Every single 5th episode.
Hey, are you wearing a Blackhawks?
Yeah.
Blackhawks shirt? Why are you wearing a Blackhawks shirt?
I'm a Hawks fan.
Really? I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
I know. No, you do.
We're going to get into some Blackhawks a little bit later on. We're going to get into some Penguins because Jason's a Penguins fan. There was a trade that went down as well. But, yeah, anyways, episode number 17. Haven't recorded in about 2 weeks now, ever since the Leafs got eliminated. But, yeah, we're back, and we got a full sports podcast coming at you today. So, first and foremost, big news breaking in the sports world yesterday and today continues on. The NBA. It started off with the Milwaukee Bucks. They decided to boycott yesterday's game, or they didn't want to come out of their dressing room in respect to what happened with Jacob Blake over the past week and the shooting in Wisconsin. So Milwaukee didn't come out of their dressing room. Magic was on the court. They were ready to play the game. But then, the Magic went back to their dressing room and found out that, hey, the Bucks are going to protest this, or they're going to boycott the game. And luckily for the Bucks, Magic were on board with them, and they accepted the Bucks' forfeit of the game. And it's honestly a really good move for the NBA right off the bat here. They realized that there's a lot more to what's going on in the world right now than just basketball and the NBA playoffs. And what happened to Jacob Blake is a lot more important than sports right now. So it's good to see NBA taking some action towards that. Even before this whole boycotting thing went down yesterday, the Toronto Raptors were in talks. Some guys were considering even leaving the bubble due to what happened with Jacob Blake. They were considering boycotting their game with the Boston Celtics. That would have been today. But it is now postponed to a later day. So, yeah, after that Bucks game got boycotted, the rest of the NBA followed and canceled all their games from yesterday and today as well. Players had some meetings going on. I think literally throughout the entire night, there were some guys staying up really late just discussing whether they want to continue on with the season or just cancel it as a whole. I think the Lakers and the Clippers were seriously considering just leaving the bubble altogether. But I think overnight and this morning when they had the meeting, all the players decided that, hey, it might be in our best interest to keep the season going and, show support with the platform that they do have, because you can't really spread as much awareness from home as you would have on a national stage in the NBA playoffs. So I don't know. I think it's a good movement from the NBA right now, it really shows that the players are taking this seriously, because a lot of the guys came to the bubble, knowing that, okay, it seems like the NBA is really taking this seriously, and the Black Lives Matter movement seriously. But it seems now that because of what happened to Jacob Blake, what the NBA was doing kind of, it wasn't working. But now, because the players are protesting and are boycotting, then the awareness is going to come back, I would think. So I'm going to ask Jason and Jay what their thoughts are on this thing quickly before moving on to NHL. So let's go to Jason first.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think it's a great move by the NBA and all the teams that are deciding to boycott. Primarily because, I mean, like, with everything that's going on right now, I don't think basketball is necessarily the most important thing right now. And I have total respect for all the players and all the teams deciding, not playing the games right now. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, our society, our economy kind of comes first. I wouldn't put any sports event first. So I totally respect all the players, coaches, trainers, staff, everybody, all the teams just deciding to boycott their games.
Yeah, I agree. Jay, you got any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, again, this is something very controversial to talk about, so I just want to be as careful as possible. But I don't know. It does. Obviously, I respect like the players' decision, like the NBA's decisions, like to postpone the game, and also NHL, and like I don't know about MLB, but like I believe NHL is also doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and but again, like I looked at the comment section for Sportsnet and ESPN, like their post, the whole Black Lives Matter movement, and there's a lot of mixed comments, I should say, with like a different opinions. So like, I don't know, like it's one of those things that like, is it right, is it wrong? You can't really decide on it. So yeah, but again, like I respect their decision. I think if they believe it was the right thing to do, like I 100% agree. Like you should go for it. You should do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to send your message, somehow.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, as of now, I guess I have to say as of now, like not everything's pretty still vague at this point of what's gonna happen. Future reference, but yeah, as of now, it is what it is. But yeah, I respect their decision.
Yeah, and also, just going back like a couple of days ago, Nick Nurse was on Tim and Sid talking to them about this whole Jacob Blake thing and Black Lives Matter as a whole. And he was saying that, some of our guys, have been telling the coaching staff, the other players, what they have been going through in their lives as well, with most of them being, Black players on the Toronto Raptors. So they obviously want to show their support in the best way possible. They want to be there to support their families throughout this tough time as well. So I heard that, MLSC, Larry Tannenbaum, Nick Nurse, Masai Ujiri, they're all supporting the Raptors and all the NBA players who would choose to leave the bubble if they want to. And I feel like NBA commissioner and all the other players, all on any team, doesn't matter if you're a team like the Lakers or a team like the Orlando Magic. It doesn't matter. I think the players, the fans should support anyone who does choose to leave the bubble if it does happen. But we did get some more clarity this morning, it seemed, and the season looks like it will resume on Sunday. No, I'm going to say, I think Friday. I think Friday it's going to resume play. I don't know how many days they're going to take off. I think they're taking off at least 2. But I think the longer they take off, the better until they resume it, just to raise more awareness. Because I think Stephen A. Smith, he said it best. A lot of these guys are just showing the sacrifice that they're willing to make and the money that they're willing to lose by not playing. The league's sacrificing a lot of money that they would be making if they were playing, TV rights, networks, etc., coaches, owners. It's a lot more than basketball right now. So that's really what's been going on. And I got to respect the players for really standing up here and coming together and really just putting basketball second and society first, I guess, and what they believe in first. The NHL, the National Hockey League actually chose to not postpone any games yesterday. Instead, they did a message before the game, before I think it was the Boston and Tampa game. They did like a moment of reflection or something for Jacob Blake. And they said that they were going to do it for the late game as well, but they didn't. They just didn't do any moment of reflection for the 10:30 game. I think that was the Dallas and Colorado game. And I don't understand why the NHL is always the last league to really do something about these kind of things. Like, you obviously don't have as many black players as the MLB does, the NBA does, the NFL does. But still, you have guys in your league that are black and that do support the Black Lives Matter movement as much as the players in the other leagues. So I feel like they really should have stood up and done something sooner. Jay did mention that the NHL did postpone the games from today and tomorrow as well. But still, I just feel like they should have done something yesterday in specific when all the other leagues canceled their games. NBA, MLB canceled a few games. The Milwaukee Brewers canceled the game yesterday. So it really just is disappointing. And you hear guys like Evander Kane come out and talk bad about the NHL. JT Brown as well. Akeem Aliu, who's not even in the NHL right now, but he was saying, NHL, where you guys at? TikTok, you got to cancel your games here because all the other leagues are doing it. So I really don't like what the NHL did yesterday. And the fact that they went on with their games just blows my mind when all the other leagues didn't. So, Jason, I'm going to ask you, why do you think the NHL chose to not cancel games yesterday, if you can even think of like a good reason as to why they would do that?
Like for me, it's not about how many black people you have like in your league. Like obviously the NBA and the MLB have more than the NHL, but hockey's like it's a worldwide sport. There's black people all over the world playing it who are interested in playing the sport. So I can't think of a logistical and a reasonable explanation as to why the NHL decided not to cancel any games or even take action as early as the other leagues did. I'm just lost for words. I have absolutely no idea what to say here. In the end, they did kind of act on it. They canceled the games today and tomorrow, but as you mentioned, they should have done it sooner. And I feel like throughout this whole kind of roller coaster that we're on this year and all the things that kind of transpired, the NHL has been kind of last in everything. And I have no idea why. Maybe it's them kind of thinking, like some personal opinions going on. I don't really know. But they got to speak louder. They got to. I have really no idea what to say here.
And also, like the thing with today, with them canceling their games today and tomorrow, you really hope that it wasn't the league that decided to do that, but it was the players themselves that actually came together and agreed on canceling. You don't want the league to just be like, okay, guys, we're going to cancel the games today because we should. All the other leagues are doing it. It's going to look bad from a PR standpoint if we don't do this. Let's really hope that did not happen. It was the players who actually came together. I know that I think 100 or at least 100 players were on a call with Evander Kane, I think this morning. So I'm sure something went on there. But, I really hope to see moving forward, and not just in the NHL, but also in the NBA, NFL, when that resumes, MLB, more guys kneeling, more guys demanding change, more guys taking a stand for what they believe in. Because, like, going back to the NBA, and I don't really want to flip-flop between sports anymore, but LeBron James said that he would leave the bubble. And it seemed like overnight his opinion changed. So I don't know how his opinion changed like that much. Like, he was so determined to leave the bubble, it seemed, yesterday. But then today comes out saying that, okay, he's going to resume play. So something must have happened in that meeting with the other players that made him be like, okay, I really believe that if I stay here, we can make a change. So there has to be something that goes on with these games now that will continue to show support of Black Lives Matter. And I think the NHL needs to do the exact same thing. I think players in the NHL need to do some kneeling. I think they have to take knees. Like, you haven't really seen anybody take a knee except for Matt Dumba, which is ridiculous. I still don't understand. Like, that's the easiest thing you can do to make a stand. Everybody should be kneeling, and it shouldn't be the leagues deciding that. It should be the players wanting to do that. You see it in the MLB. Some guys are still taking a knee during the national anthem. Every single game, the NBA players, literally all of them, are taking knees. So NHL, what is your excuse here? Like, if you want to show support, that's the least you can do. And the message thing that they missed yesterday in the Vancouver or the Colorado Dallas game is also unacceptable as well. Like, that's the one thing you could have done. And you said you were going to do it too, but they just completely missed it for some reason. So I don't agree with that at all. But Jay, do you have anything else you want to say? I know you haven't been talking too much.
Yeah, no worries. You got some very valid points. But so I actually want to ask you guys this. Do you guys think just because players are kneeling and boycotting the games, do you guys think it's actually going to impact the society and it's gonna make things better?
I mean, that's the money question right there, but it's really hard to say. Like,
yeah, it is really like there's not yes or no question. It's like very controversial.
I think as of right now, like, you've seen it like on social media right now, it does seem to be creating some change, but it's only small change. Like, because the players are sitting out, they're not playing these games, you get people talking about it right away. Right. But I have a feeling that once the players do go back to playing, it's going to go back to normal and people are just going to focus on the sport. But that's why it's so critical that when the NBA does resume and the NHL does resume, that the league does something more than just the games. Like, I don't know what they can do, but like it just has to be something better than what they were already doing because it wasn't working.
Right, because I talked to you. We talked about this, Aiden, before the podcast started. But LeBron James posted. He tweeted about the whole Black Lives Matter situation, and there's a pretty popular UFC fighter whose name is Kobe Covington. He's a great fighter, but he says he's very infamous because he says things that are very controversial and possibly racist, which I completely agree. But he's a great fighter. But he tweeted back to LeBron James saying, basically, which if I'm summarizing what he's saying, he basically said, if you really want to support the situation, why don't you just why don't you quit from your multi-million-dollar job and then just become a police officer and start leading with an example. So yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people who actually thinks the same way, which was kind of surprising for me to find out. But again, it's very difficult things to talk about.
Yeah,
you know,
I think it also like just relates back to politics as well. And like,
right, exactly.
I think you're also saying that he's a big Trump supporter.
He's a big Trump supporter.
So
yes,
I feel like there's really just two sides to it, and LeBron even mentioned it. Like, in his tweet, I think he said, like, that's why every vote matters, guys. And it's just a little jab at Trump. Like, but he's completely right. Like, there needs to be a change from the top. If there wants to be real change in this world, there has to be a change of who the president of the United States is. As simple as that. Right. And that's the first thing you got to do. And to be honest, I'm just glad that the NBA players are really making this sacrifice because, like that tweet said, I guess, LeBron basically is quitting his job by not playing for this certain amount of time. And he was considering just quitting the entire playoffs. So I still think that some players might end up just leaving the bubble. I think we saw that or Damian Lillard, he left the bubble, but I think he's injured. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Trailblazers said, like, okay, you're injured, but like you can still stay in the bubble with us. But you know, based on what's happening, he was just like, no, I'm gonna leave no matter what. Mm-hmm. So
Yeah, but going back to the whole dealing and like boycotting situation, like I get where the action's coming from, like why they doing it, but like from based on what I'm seeing so far, I think it's only bringing it more controversial to like people. Like people are more like saying bad things about it. Maybe that's what they're going for. I'm not 100% sure as of now because they want
We'll
to. They
see.
at the end of the day, they do want to bring attention to it.
Yeah.
But as of now, I don't know exactly. I don't know where we're gonna go with it. But yeah,
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I don't know if it's gonna make serious change by them not playing, but I'm glad that they did decide to continue playing because
yeah,
how
me too.
much change can you really make just from being at home, right? When you're not
Right.
on the main stage playing in front of
Yeah, that's
millions of
another
fans
thing.
every single day, right? It's a good decision by the NBA players to continue playing and spreading their messages, whether that be in interviews or on the field, stuff like that. I just want more. I just want more from the NBA and more from the NHL. And also the MLB, Jays and Red Sox, they might cancel their game tonight as well. So I guess good small steps in the right direction for both
Right.
teams, but there just has to be more. And like that's what we were talking about on episode 1 as well. Like justice for George Floyd, that episode did pretty
Oh wow,
well.
yeah, that was first episode,
That
right?
was first episode.
Wow.
And it's like 3 months later now, and we're still talking about the same issues. Another shooting went down. So in literally 3 months, it doesn't really seem like we've made any progress. Like we were talking about it on that episode. It seemed like, yeah, we're getting people talking about it. And, it's like for like the first month after the George Floyd shooting, it seemed like we were actually going to make real change. But then after that, it just kind of died off. And then now another shooting happens 3 months later. So at some point, we have to stop this trend. I don't know if it's ever going to stop, but at some point, we have to stop it. So it's disappointing, but I don't know. Shout out to the NBA players for really taking a stand here, and I hope the NHL players follow. Let's make a hard transition into some hockey talk.
Different mood.
NHL playoffs. As much as I don't really want to talk about them, like this is a sports show. There's the Stanley Cup playoffs going on right now. We're hockey fans. We're going to talk about some good positive stuff here. 2 series going on in the East, 2 series going on in the West. Let's start with the East. Tampa Bay and Boston. Tampa Bay with a gigantic win last night, 7-1 over the Boston Bruins. And Bruins had Yaroslav Halak in net. And then they had their backup goalie that no one's ever heard of. I don't even remember his name. It's like, I think it's Daniel something. Or I don't know. I could be wrong about that. It might not be Daniel. I'm not sure. It's a nobody, and he got lit up as well. So Tampa's up 2-1 in that series without Steven Stamkos as well in the lineup. So pretty impressive performance by them so far. I know Boston doesn't have Rask, but it's still huge. Jason, what are your thoughts on the series so far?
Yeah, Tampa's been playing amazing. All 3 games. I know they lost one of the games, but I mean, overall, they've been playing much different than they have been in previous playoff appearances. Remember last year they got swept by the Blue Jackets, and I have no idea what happened there. But this year they look like a completely different team. Even without Stamkos, I think they're playing more like as a team. They're moving the puck around a lot better. The guys are skating, and it seems like it's a 4-line contribution going on right now. So I definitely think Tampa's gonna take out Boston here in this series. But ultimately, I mean, they're playing great. And we'll see what happens.
All right. Jay, you got any thoughts on this one?
I'll be honest with you. I stopped watching hockey as soon as the Hawks got eliminated. So,
I guess, yeah. Do you think Tampa's gonna win it though?
Win it all? That's
tough. Not win it all.
Win it all.
Oh, okay.
Will they win?
Yeah,
the series?
this series, yeah, I think Tampa's gonna easily actually gonna win.
Okay, really? Okay.
I think they're gonna win the rest of the game. To be honest with you.
Wow.
I don't know about that, but...
I don't. To be honest with you, I don't think they're gonna win the whole thing. I think, yeah.
That's a different topic.
All right,
I know.
Let's save
it. I'll save it.
Next series, Islanders Flyers. Islanders embarrassed the Flyers in the first game. They shut them out. Varlamov played really good. Islanders are just so good defensively. Barry Trotz is probably the best defensive coach in the NHL, and they made the Flyers look like the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like, it was so bad. It was
Let's not
bad.
go there. Let's not go there.
Hey, I'm a Leafs fan. I can say that. It's 1-1 in the series, though. Flyers won game 3 after they almost blew a 3-0 lead that they had. Well, they did blow it, but then they came back and won it in overtime. But Varlamov did get pulled in that game. Greiss came in the net. I think the big question going into what was supposed to be tonight's game was who would be the starter in net. So I don't know. Would it have been Varlamov? Would it have been Greiss? I think Greiss played pretty well ever since he came into the game in game 2. Varlamov has been their go-to guy, though. I think you might give it to Greiss. They've had a fringe starting system all season long. They've been flip-flopping games. So I think Thomas Greiss might be the game 3 starter. Does anyone agree with me on that or disagree?
I think, yeah. I think so too. Just because I don't know any of the goalies that you just mentioned. I trust your gut, Aiden.
All right. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people disagree, and I have Semyon Varlamov on my fantasy hockey team as well. But I think that Thomas Greiss will get the start in the next game. Let's move on. Actually, wait. Who do you think is going to win this series? Islanders or Flyers?
Islanders.
I think the Islanders are going to win the cup.
You think they're going to win the cup? Actually, that's a really valid point because, like, I think they're one of the top contenders.
They are so well coached. They're so well organized. They clog up the neutral zone. They play great defensively, and we all know defense. Great defense wins hockey. That's my opinion. I mean, they're just a great defense.
Yeah, I mean, look at Toronto Maple Leafs.
And when you're good on the back end, the offense will come at some point. So, I don't really like the Islanders, but I think they're a great hockey team, and they're going to go far in these playoffs unless they blow it.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think they're going to win this series. And
yeah, me too.
I honestly think it could be in like 5 or 6 games. I don't think the Flyers will push it to 7. The only one concern that I have about the Islanders is can they beat a team like Tampa or Boston? Like, that might be hard. That'll be their toughest challenge. But I do think that if they get to the Stanley Cup final, they might win it. They might actually win it.
You're right.
So, yeah.
But I kind of want to see Canucks win it as well.
I think everybody wants to see the
redemption.
Canucks win it.
2010 redemption.
2011.
No, it was 10, wasn't it? Was it 11?
No, it was 11. Blackhawks.
Was it 11? Oh, right. Yeah. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Come on, man. You're wearing the shirt.
I got mixed between the Olympics and stuff. Like, no.
All right. Moving on to the Western Conference. We have the game that Jay did watch yesterday, Dallas and Colorado. Dallas takes a 2-1 series lead. They won the first 2 games of the series. Avalanche won yesterday. It was a crazy game. Did you watch the third period of that one, Jay?
I only watched the last 5 minutes of the third period.
Okay, that still counts.
That still counts.
You watched the game.
You missed like all the good parts. Wasn't like it was like the first part of the third period where like 5 goals were scored.
Hey, man,
I missed that.
He turned on the TV. It's fine.
But no, it was crazy. I think like Colorado had the lead going into the period, and then Dallas tied it right away. Then they got another one, and then Colorado got one. Dallas got one. Colorado got one.
Really?
Colorado got another one. Nazem Kadri, he got the OT winner, or not the OT winner, but the game winner.
Game winner, yeah. And to be honest, if I'm being completely honest with you, like I was editing last night too. So like when I turned it on, the only goal I saw was the empty net goal.
I think I'm gonna make a compilation from this podcast of all the times you say, "If I'm being completely honest with you," and then whatever you say.
I say that much?
You say that a lot.
Yeah, you say that a lot.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, really?
I think you said it at least 50 times.
I don't recognize it. Like I don't.
You definitely say
really?
that. There's got to be a bunch of times you've said that like before on the other podcasts.
Yeah, maybe you can just make a compilation out of.
Yeah,
it's gonna go viral.
That'll go viral.
TVH compilation.
Most popular video on Unlimited.
Yeah, let's talk about the series some more. Coming into the series, I think everyone thought Colorado was just gonna go right by Dallas because they looked unbeatable. Avalanche just completely handled business against the Coyotes. And Dallas, they were in a little bit tougher, I guess, against Calgary. I think they took that it was a 6-game series, but, Calgary had the lead in that game as well. So it was looking kind of iffy there for Dallas. But Colorado just looked so good heading into it. I thought they were going to win it in maybe 5 games. But then, real wake-up call in Game 1, Dallas takes it easily. Game 2 as well, Dallas looks like the way better team. Guys like Tyler Seguin, Alex Radulov, Jamie Benn have really stepped up so far in the series. Guys on the back end like Miro Heiskanen came out of nowhere, and he's looking really good. I think he's leading all defensemen with points in the playoffs so far, and he's only a young guy. I think it's his 2nd or 3rd year in the league right now. What do you guys make of this series, and who do you think is ultimately going to win it? Dallas does have the lead 2-1, but can Colorado come back, you think?
I think the Stars are gonna win. I had them to sweep Colorado actually.
What?
Yeah, he did.
In the beginning.
Yeah, remember he told us.
I told you
when we
guys.
were hanging out.
I told you.
Yeah.
I was like,
he
the Stars
called
are
it.
gonna
He was like
sweep-
Dallas sweeping. Yeah.
They're gonna sweep Colorado. I mean, I honestly thought at the beginning. I still think they're gonna win the series. I think it's gonna be in 5 or 6. It won't go to 7. I just think they look so good. I've seen Colorado play. Nathan McKinnon is absolutely unbelievable, but I mean, I don't know why. It's just I have a gut feeling that Dallas is just gonna go so far in this in the Stanley Cup playoffs. I don't know why. I mean, they look great.
I mean, yeah, Dallas is a very good team. They don't have Ben Bishop either. They have Anton Khudobin in it.
Right.
Yeah, they got Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin, Pavelski, Radulov. I mean, they're all playing really good right now. So
Denis Gurianov has come out of nowhere.
Yeah, I've never even heard of him.
Yeah,
until now.
And he got a 4 goals in the game against Calgary.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think Dallas is gonna win as well. But I'm all in for the underdogs. I kind of want Avalanche. I kind of want to see Avalanche.
I don't think they're the underdog. I think Dallas is the underdog.
They're
the underdogs? What?
Yeah,
why is Dallas the underdog?
Colorado's finished second.
That.
Colorado finished second in the West this year. Dallas they were one of the lower seeded teams.
Really?
Yeah. And they're missing their goalie. They have Anton Khudobin as their goalie.
That's true.
Yeah, that's definitely underdogs. Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, still underdogs.
Colorado is stacked. McKinnon, Rantanen, Landeskog, Makar, Kadri. They're really good. And they had Grubauer. He's injured. Francouz is okay as well. They have a good team. But I don't know. I think this series is going to go 7, to be honest. And I think it could go either way. I think maybe I'll give the edge to Dallas just because of the experience that they have. And they went to a Game 7 last year against the Blues, and they want that redemption. And Avalanche is still a fairly young team. So I think Dallas might win it in 7 games. True. But it's going to be closer, I think. The next series, Vancouver and Vegas. Vegas absolutely steamrolled Vancouver in Game 1. They shut them out. And then Vancouver kind of steamrolled Vegas in Game 2, it seemed like. So, yeah, that game is supposed to happen tonight, Game 3, but it's not. Who do you guys think will win this series? It's tied right now. It's very close.
Canucks.
A lot of people were counting. I know you want them to win, but do you actually think that they're going to win?
Yeah.
Do you actually think the Canucks will win?
You don't think so, Jason?
No, I think Vegas is going to win the end. Yeah, they're a much quicker team. They got more depth. I think Vegas will take it in 7.
Okay, 7 games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Canucks will put up a fight, and they have been.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, in the end, I don't see them moving on. But surprise me.
I think with Vancouver, they only have that one line and a good power play. They have that Pedersen, JT Miller, Tyler Toffoli line right now.
Mm.
They have Horvat, who was good in the series against St. Louis, and he was good last game as well. So if he keeps it up, then you never know. But I think Vegas just has 4 good lines. It is crazy how much Peter DeBoer trusts his 4th line. He starts the 4th line. Ryan Reeves, they're the first line on every single game to set the tone.
Very Trotz style.
Yeah, exactly. The Islanders and the Golden Knights probably have the 2 best 4th lines in the game. The Islanders' 4th line is pretty stacked. It's Casey Cizikas, Kyle Clutterbuck.
Yeah, they shut down everybody.
Yeah. Jay, who do you think? You said Vancouver, right?
Yeah, I still think Vancouver is gonna win. Canucks in 6. That's my prediction.
6
In
games.
6 games.
Vegas is only gonna win one more.
Yeah, Canucks is gonna
Ouch.
win next
Okay.
2, and
Okay.
Vegas is gonna win the next one,
Okay.
And then
and then
take
Canucks
over.
is gonna
Game
finish.
6.
So Jason, I'm gonna go to you first. Who do you think is gonna come out of the Western Conference and make it to the Stanley Cup final?
Dallas.
Dallas.
No doubt in my mind.
So it's gonna be a Dallas, New York Islanders Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, and Islanders are gonna sweep.
And they're gonna sweep in Stanley Cup finals.
Yeah, they're gonna sweep, man. It's gonna be.
When was the last time that happened? I don't even know.
Yeah, it's gonna be. So Dallas is gonna come out. They're gonna beat Colorado. Like I've been saying all along, they will. I said this. Vegas is gonna take out the Canucks in 7. It'll be like the Stars and the Golden Knights going at it. I think the Stars will win it in 5 or 6. But hey, I don't know. And they'll eventually meet the Islanders from the East. In the East side, I think Tampa. I said this. Tampa's going to beat Boston. The Islanders are going to win their series, and then I think the Islanders are actually going to take out Tampa. I know Tampa is a star-powered team. I think Stamkos will be back. Is he projected to be back for the final?
Yeah, like they were saying, he might even come back in this series potentially.
Yeah. So either way, I think we'll be back for the conference final. And the Islanders will take them on in however many games. But in the end,
Sorry, go ahead.
In the end, I think the Islanders are going to face off with the Stars, but they're going to sweep them.
So they're gonna take out Tampa Bay as well.
Yeah, they're going to take out Tampa Bay. Yeah, I don't even think it's going to be close.
Really?
I think it's going to be 4 or 5.
Like 4 or 5.
I have so much confidence in Barry Trotz and his coaching style and how the Islanders are built. Like they have a 4-line, complete team that plays defensively, offensively, and they got great goaltending. So
you're right. You are right, but
Aiden, it's like when the Penguins won. It's like for me, it's like I just don't see the Penguins losing this year. So I was like,
I don't have that feeling with the Islanders yet. Like I
Really?
see what you mean. I agree with you, 100% about the whole defensive thing. And they're going to be really tough to score goals against, and defense wins championships. So obviously that is a good reason as to why they should win the cup. But there's a team like Tampa Bay who's destroying another good team right now in Boston.
Yeah.
And they look very scary. And I wouldn't count them out. Tampa has a lot more experience than the Islanders as well.
Not very good experience, but experience.
They've made it to the Stanley Cup final. They made it to the Eastern Conference finals before. I don't know. I can see the Islanders winning against the Flyers, and I think they'll be in tough against one of Tampa or Boston. It's going to be tough for them to win, I think. At some point, you're going to have to put the puck in the net as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Jay, you said Vancouver in the West.
Hawks.
Huh?
Blackhawks.
Blackhawks for next year?
Yeah, no, this year. No, I'm kidding. I was kidding. But rise from the dead. One of the teams going to get disqualified. They're going to put Blackhawks back in. And hopefully they'll win. But honestly, Vancouver versus
you're so dark right now. You're so dark right now. Come into the light.
Come to the light.
All right, there we go.
All right, Vancouver versus I don't know who the other. To be honest, I actually have no clue who their opponent's going to be in the finals. What do you guys think?
Well, who do you think is going to win against Tampa Boston? You said Tampa, right? You said Tampa would win that one.
Yeah, I think you said Tampa.
You said that one
okay. I guess I said it. Yeah.
Let's say he said it.
And then
let's say I said it.
And then who's gonna win in the Islanders Flyers series? You said Islanders. Right?
Islanders, but from Tampa versus here's the thing: in Tampa versus Islanders, I have no clue. They're both really well-rounded team.
Let's flip the coin.
Yeah.
Let's get
a prediction here.
Heads or tails? Heads or tails for Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go bold. I'm gonna go Tampa final.
Tampa final.
Okay.
Tampa, Vancouver, and Vancouver wins, right?
Sweet. No.
Yeah, let's go.
Game 7. No, wait. Game 7. They lose overtime.
Triple
overtime. I don't know.
No, dude. Longest game in NHL history. in that game 7, like
Oh, yo,
5th overtime.
something happened. We can't hear him. We can't hear you, Jay.
Okay, we can't hear you. I'm
Hello?
so excited. Turn
Yo,
up
you were
this.
so excited.
Yeah, we
you
can
you
hear you.
unplugged
Guys,
this
can you hear me?
microphone.
Yeah.
We can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. Like game 7, 7th OT, like
7th OT.
7th
No,
OT.
the coaches like fall asleep.
Yeah, they're like falling
Oh my
asleep.
goodness, that'd be the most intense
one of
hockey
the
game
one of
ever.
like one of the goalies get injured probably. And I don't know.
Fans break into the bubble.
Yeah. At that point, yeah, basically.
If Vancouver lost that game, it would be crazy. In
Yeah,
Vancouver,
it's gonna be
there'd
another
riots. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said Vancouver loses it in the 7th overtime.
No, I'm kidding, but I honestly think Vancouver's gonna win.
Okay.
I hope Vancouver wins.
All right.
But is it really? Are they really gonna win? Probably not.
Okay. So that just kind of blew the
I'm gonna stick with what I've said from the beginning with my bracket. Tampa will play Colorado in the final, and Tampa will win the Stanley Cup this year.
Tampa will win.
Tampa will win. I think it's finally their year to do it.
Really? You think it's
Could
finally
be.
their year?
Yeah, I know it's not like a big surprise choice, I guess, but I think like everybody's talking about the Islanders. Everybody's talking about the Flyers for some reason still. Like they're apparently having a great year. They might be the team to win it. Also Vegas, Colorado looks very strong. I think Tampa's kind of flying under the radar a little bit. They're kind of in that like second wave of good teams, but I think they're really determined. They've had to win some gutsy games so far in the playoffs. They had that insane 5 overtimes against Columbus in game 1 that they grinded out and won. They had that clinching game against Columbus that they won in overtime as well. I think they've had to go through a lot, especially with Stamkos being out. I think when he comes back, they're going to be even better, and they're going to be really difficult to stop. You know, they have 4 lines on offense that are pretty good, a stacked defensive core, and arguably the best goalie in the world in Andrei Vasilevsky. So I think it's going to be tough to stop them if they get by Boston. I think there's not really another team that's going to stand in their way, to be honest, if they get past Boston. Yeah.
Sound like a Dodgers fan, eh?
I sound like a Dodgers fan?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's start talking about the Dodgers
This
now.
year's our year.
Yeah, let's
the
talk about
Light-
the Dodgers. I love that.
And they choke in the playoff.
The Tampa Bay Lightning could turn into
dude.
the Dodgers.
They don't choke. Kershaw chokes. And the team does choke too, but
The manager, freaking what's his face?
Dave Roberts.
Manager, yeah, Roberts chokes.
Surprised he's still the manager. I thought he'd get fired last year,
Yeah,
honestly.
me too.
I don't know.
Do you guys think the
Maybe later
Dodgers
this
will
year.
win this year? They look pretty
they're-
stacked.
They're loaded, yeah. I don't have too much confidence in their rotation.
I think they can pull it off because they have Mookie Betts.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, if we go to their like rotation, like Dustin Mays looked really good. Bueller's kind of like iffy right now. Like he had one good game.
That's true.
And like his command is just off. I mean, Kershaw's been great, but I mean, when it gets to the playoffs,
It's
he always
playoffs.
just sucks. So
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about him. It seems like all Dodger fans, it's like, dude, Kershaw's doing so well this year in the regular season. It's like he's gonna do great in the playoffs this year, and they just
It's not gonna
they just
matter.
repeat that over and over and over.
Yeah.
So do you see them making any moves at the deadline to improve their pitching staff? Because their offense is stacked. They don't really need to make any more improvements there.
Oh yeah, their
No,
offense is loaded.
They're stacked.
Maybe
Maybe.
I don't know if they'll make any moves because they got a lot of good pitchers. Like they got like Stripling, they got Urias, they got May, Bueller, Kershaw. I don't see them making any gigantic moves because I think their rotation is pretty set. But
And you only need
I
like
don't
3
know.
pitchers, I guess, in the playoffs.
really, yeah. If
Okay.
Kershaw shows up,
Well, let's transition to baseball then. We
Let's
are
do
going to
it.
talk some Jays. The Jays made some trades. They made 2 trades this past week. First one, Daniel Vogelbach. They acquired from the Seattle Mariners a DH/first base. All they had to give up was some cash to the Mariners. Vogelbach was an all-star last year. He had 30 bombs. Only batted around 200 though, and isn't having the best season so far this year with the Mariners. But I think he is a valuable piece that could be added to the Jays bench potentially, or a guy who can flip-flop with a guy like Rowdy Tellez if they want to give him a day off. Vogelbach can play the first base or DH, and I think he's the perfect guy to come out onto the field in a 9th inning, 1-run game. If they need a home run, he's probably the guy you can count on to get it. So I think it's a big win because they literally gave up nothing for an all-star, right? Am I
for
missing
sure.
something? That kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, he's a power hitter, so
Yeah.
he can come up in the 9th inning, extra inning, just bomb one out of the park.
Yeah.
Let's hope that happens.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't looked too good this year, but
No.
he was great last year, so hopefully he can pick something
Hopefully
up.
he'll come back. Yeah, he'll bounce back.
I hope so. Also, Jays got today Taiwan Walker after they announced Trent Thornton would be out for the entire season. Nate Pearson still dealing with some elbow issues. Matt Shoemaker's on the IL as well. So they needed starting pitching, and they go out and get Taiwan Walker, who is also prone to injuries. Throughout his entire career, he's been injured. This year, he has an ERA of, I think, four flat, I believe.
Yeah.
So, it's a decent guy. He adds depth, and same with Vogelbach. In the Vogelbach trade, they literally gave up nothing to get Vogelbach, and they didn't really give up much to get Walker as well. I think it's a player to be named later. It's going to be a minor league guy. It's not going to be a guy who's on their starting 60-man roster right now. So it's really just another win for the Jays. Like, you can't really criticize the trade because they gave up nothing, and it helps them right now. So where do you think Walker's going to fit into the rotation? What number do you see him fitting into, I guess, if the Jays are healthy?
Okay, so we're talking about when all the pitchers are healthy.
Yeah. Maybe not Thornton because he's out for the year, but when Pearson comes back, Shoemaker comes back.
Right. I think he'll fit in at the 4 spot, behind. Okay, if we're gonna rank the rotation here, just to make everything easier. So I'll go Ryu, Shoemaker, Pearson, or you can flip Shoemaker and Pearson around. That's personal opinion. And then I'll put Walker, and then I'll put Rourke or Anderson, actually.
Yeah, that seems right. Yeah.
Yeah,
something
I
like
did the
that.
same thing, but switch Pearson and Shoemaker.
Okay.
So that's the
Yeah. I don't know what they'll do. I think Walker's going to be a big piece if the Jays were to make the playoffs as well, because you can also put him in the bullpen and he could be a real threat.
That's true.
In their bullpen, middle reliever. He can pitch 2 to 3 innings for you out of the pen. I think he'll be good. I know he's got a variety of pitches. He doesn't throw the fastest. He's not high 90s. I think he can throw mid 90s.
Yeah, he's got 4 pitches.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of what the Jays needed. They just needed a pitcher right now. And to get him for cheap, it's good. I think Walker started his career on Seattle. Then he went to the Diamondbacks. Then he came back to Seattle. I think the one highlight from this season so far is opening day or his opening day, I guess his first start of the year. He struck out 8 batters against the Athletics. But after that, it kind of went downhill a little bit. But hopefully with the Jays, he can pick it back up. And Pete Walker's always good at, bringing in pitchers and transforming them into, everyday MLB starting pitchers. So I think he'll help them out a lot. Yeah. Any more thoughts on what the Jays did, and what do you think they're going to do? Because the trade deadline is in 4 days. So what else do you think that they can do to improve the team? Jay, you want to?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think they're really gonna do anything, anything special. I guess from now, I think they're just gonna see how it goes, and hopefully, I don't know if they're gonna even make the playoff. They're pretty close. I checked today, I thought they were gonna be way off, but they're pretty close. So hopefully, once they do make playoff, I think they're gonna do pretty well. But we'll see. It's baseball. You can't. It's not like basketball, where you can just, if you have a few good players, you can just absolutely dominate.
Win the whole thing.
Yeah,
exactly. So it's baseball. It can be even with worse players, you can still beat. Well, you know what I mean.
The
the outcomes can be totally unpredictable.
Yeah. Otherwise, the Dodgers would just win every year.
Exactly. But look at them.
It's the same thing in hockey, right?
Kinda, yeah.
Like the Islanders.
Yeah. More than the NBA for sure.
Oh yeah, NBA. If you have a good team on paper, you're guaranteed playoffs at least, and then if you have a superstar, you're guaranteed conference finals.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, Jason, you got any ideas of what the Jays could do?
I really hope they can get another good like pitcher. I'm hoping for Dylan Bundy, like
Okay.
from the Angels. I think having like Ryu, Bundy, Pearson would be like great 1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah.
Bundy's he's been great this year. So I mean, I hope they can get like a really skilled starting pitcher, but I don't see them making any like insane moves.
Yeah.
It's gonna
I'm
make them like
gonna
clear cut.
throw a name out there to Jay. Jay, if you were the GM of the Red Sox, would you
Jesus.
when you
The GM.
consider trading JD Martinez to us? Because he's a free agent.
I
He might not be
know,
back
man.
next year.
But like,
It is.
What would you want? What would you want from us?
He's like crunching his hands right now.
I mean, as much as I hate to see him go, I think that would be the right choice because like we just gave away Mookie Betts. We just gave away Mookie Betts. It's like it's time for us to like rebuild. Like in my opinion.
Yeah, let's
It's
retool
definitely-
the rough.
I agree because the Red Sox have been awful this year.
Yeah, I mean we won like couple like championships now this decade, and like I'm kind of well, it's actually not even that decade. It's like the last decade, but like I'm kind of happy what we did so far. So like it's time for us to just step away, like take a step back, and just reorganize things. You know, with the young people, young players, with young potential players. You know, like what Jace did for few years now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd have to trade JD Martinez.
And I think it's gonna happen. I think they will
It's gonna
actually trade
happen.
him.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't think they're gonna get much in return just because he's a free
Me
agent.
either. Yeah.
And like teams might not re-sign him, especially a team like the Jays. Like if they trade for a guy like JD Martinez, I don't think they're comfortable signing him to a big extension when they know that they're gonna have to sign Vladdy at some point, Bo at some point, Biggio
Right.
at some point. Ryu
Bo's
might
gonna
need a
be
new
like-
contract in 5 years as well. So
Right.
or Nate Pearson's gonna need a monster
Sure.
contract as well. So
That's insane.
I think the Jays could actually get him, and like their offense would be scary if he's at DH, first base, or you could put him in the outfield as well.
Yeah.
Like he's very versatile.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's a name definitely to look out for, and if that happens, like that's gonna break the internet. That's gonna be a massive
Right.
trade.
Right.
Disappointing loss of Anthony Alford today. They put him on waivers, I believe, 2 days ago. And we found out today that the Pittsburgh Pirates claimed him. And I am very disappointed. That Anthony Alford was one of my, I wouldn't say one of my favorite players, but he was the guy that I was most fond of because I thought he had potential to be a really good MLB player. This guy's fast. He's good defensively. He has power. He has contact. He has speed. Like, he had it all. And to lose him for nothing is really unfortunate. I don't think the Jays gave him really a fair chance to be an everyday MLB player. They gave Hernandez a little bit more of a shot. Gurriel came in. Grichuk is their center fielder. But I thought Alford was just – I wouldn't say he's better than any of those three guys right now, but I think he could turn into one of at least as good as Hernandez has become right now. And to lose him for nothing is just really unfortunate. And I think on the Pirates, he's going to get so much more playing time because the Pirates don't really have a good outfield right now. I wish Alfred the best, and I hope he does really well. I think he's going to prove the Jays wrong. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, I kind of see where the Jays are coming from. I mean, he's hitting like 180 or something.
Yeah.
This year he's only got like a couple RBIs. I can kind of see it, but I do agree that he can be like a really good player in the long run. And to just put him on waivers, and I think they could have gotten something for him.
Yeah, look at a trade.
Yeah, instead of just like throwing him out there.
Like at least get like cash at the
I
very
got some
least
cash.
for him. But I think the Jays, like one of the main reasons why they did it is because Derek Fisher, if they put him on waivers, then he could wait. Hold on. No, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was just a bad move. Maybe it was actually just a bad move that they put Alfred on waivers. I feel like there was
let's just
something
keep
with
it at
Fisher,
that.
but yeah, it was just a really bad move, I think. And I would have preferred them putting someone else on waivers, but it sucks. And I wish Anthony Alford the best in Pittsburgh. And I think he's going to prove the Jays wrong, and he's going to have a good rest of the season there. So, yeah. Jays and Red Sox, they canceled their game tonight because of the protests going on. Black Lives Matter. Shout out to them. I think a bunch of other MLB teams are going to follow. Yeah, no NBA for the next couple of days, no NHL for the next couple of days as well. We'll be back on the weekend, I guess. That really does it for the show. So thank you, boys, for coming on. Jason Lee, Jay Lee.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, no problem. Jay Lee, I guess you'll be back in a couple episodes.
Episode 20.
Yes, Jason will get you on soon again. And yeah, that's it. Anything else you guys want to mention here before heading off? Anything else we missed that you want to talk about? Actually, Aiden, there is something that we forgot to talk about. We forgot to talk about the Kasperi Kapanen trade that the Leafs made with the Pittsburgh Penguins. So the Penguins, they sent their first-round pick, 15th overall, David Warsawski, an AHL player. They also sent Evan Rodriguez, and they sent Philip Hallander to the Toronto Maple Leafs in exchange for Kasperi Kapanen, Pontus Aberg, and Jesper Lindgren. So what do I think of the deal? I think the Leafs hit a home run on this trade, to be honest. If you can get a first-round pick for a guy who plays on your third line, that is a big win. There's really not too much else to look into. Like, they got a stud prospect as well in Philip Hallander. So I think he can come in maybe 2 years and be a regular starting player on the Leafs. I think that Evan Rodriguez thing, it's intriguing because he is an RFA. I don't think the Leafs should re-sign him because that will give them less cap space to work with. I don't see him being a guy that can fit into their top 9 right away. I think they have a bunch of other guys who I'd rather play in that position right now. I could see him as a fourth-line center, but he might be a little bit expensive. He might make around $2 million, and $2 million for a fourth-line center is on a team that is, tied up in the cap problems. I think it's a little bit too much. So I wouldn't be surprised if they traded Rodriguez for, a pick or something like that. I think that's probably the best thing to do. Other than that, though, I'm okay with them giving up Lindgren. I'm okay with giving up Pontus Aberg. Aberg's like a good guy in the AHL, but he wasn't really anything when he came up to the Leafs. I know he played on the Matthews line, and he's going to be a stud in the AHL, but that's about it. And then the big piece, Kasperi Kapanen. It sucks to see him go. A lot of good memories. I think he's going to be missed. That you always remember that double overtime goal that he scored against Washington, that game-winning goal that he had against Pittsburgh in his rookie year that clinched a playoff spot for the Leafs. Kapanen's an excellent penalty killer, physical, gritty, something that the Leafs were lacking. So it's kind of upsetting that it had to be Kapanen. I'd prefer Janssen, Kerfoot, Engvall, maybe even William Nylander over Kasperi Kapanen. But I guess it made sense. I mean, it obviously makes sense when you can get a first-round pick. So it sucks that it had to be Cappy, but the return for Cappy was outstanding. So I can't complain about that at all. Let's hope the Leafs can put that cap space to work and they, make some moves on the back end now. And yeah, let's go back to the end of the podcast.
Jays are going to make the playoffs.
Jays are
They're gonna win. They're gonna win the World Series. I'm calling it right here. Jays versus Dodgers, and then they sweep the Dodgers.
I guess we'll just end it off with that then. All right. Thank you guys for listening to Unlimited episode number 17. Peace.